Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Cindy Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And very fun, new movie again this week. Back-to-back new movies over here lately. We gave you like 3 themed months in a row. And finally we're getting back to the theaters. Isn't it exciting? So
Okay, the theme month before June was new movies.
Well, it ended up being
that were about
mommy issues May. So
but weren't they all?
Yeah, they were all new enough. Yeah, but they were
new movies about mommies. You can do it
yeah,
all.
There we go.
You can have 2 themes in one. Anyway, sorry.
That's so true. Anyway, we're back in the theaters. Actually, I'm scared by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be out of theaters. But that's okay. Regardless of theaters or not, we are doing a new movie called Leviticus that came out in June. We wanted to do it as part of our Pride lineup when we first heard about it, and then our Pride theme narrowed. Got squeezed right out. So thankfully, we still got it on the schedule. We're doing it now. And I saw it a couple weeks ago, actually. I went to the theaters the day that it came out because I had a ticket to see a Girls Like Girls Q&A screening with Haley Kiyoko. And then I saw somebody on TikTok called that movie and this movie Gay Barbenheimer. So I said, I will be doing a double feature.
Dude, yeah, I had been wanting to do that, but then I had a fucking wedding this weekend that this happened. And so I could not go to Gay Barbenheimer, but I still haven't seen Girls Like Girls.
It's cute.
I really want to see it. I read the book. I was obsessed with that song when it came out. Oh, man. It's okay. There's time. Or I can
There is time. And I suspect it will watch well at home as well. But anyway, if you haven't seen Leviticus, or if you're just like, what was that movie about again? Things are out of theaters so quickly these days that I forget. Let me remind you. The IMDb logline reads, 2 teenage boys must escape a violent entity that takes the form of the person they desire most. Each other. Whoa. So you guys both came like straight from the theater, right?
Yeah, it's fresh on the dome.
No, actually, I came straight from aerobics because I went straight to aerobics after I watched this in the movie theater. So, of course, I've done a lot of processing while I was doing jazz squares and really failing at the salsa, which is something I thought I had down. And that was a really humbling moment for me. I was really contemplating this movie. I did listen to a lot of interviews with the director, Adrian Chiarella. Is that how you say it? Chiarella? They said it in
I also watched some interviews, and so I'm sure I heard somebody say his name at some point.
I know, it didn't stick in my head.
Chiarella.
Like
I don't know.
Chiarella, yeah. He's a really cute sweetie. This is his directorial debut, so that's really cool. And also, this did really well at Sundance Film Festival. And in all of this interviews that I was listening to, I learned, and this makes sense, we kind of already knew this, but I just hadn't really thought about it. There's a big connection these days with Sundance and Australian horror films having their day. So just a few years ago, we had Talk to Me, which also not starred necessarily, but had Joe Bird, who is the star of this film, in it. And that's kind of what put him on the map. And then this is his first lead role here. But yeah, this is like, I don't know, I've been so hyped for this for so long, and I wish I had seen it right away because I'll shout it out because I know he doesn't fucking listen to the podcast. My friend Ian was like, oh, you're going to do that on the pod? You should skip it. It's boring. And so I was like, shut up. I said, shut up. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Shut the fuck up. I said, shut the fuck up right now. I don't want to hear it. And then he like rolled his eyes again when I was telling my other friend, I love him. I love him so much. I love him. He should have shut up though. Because then I had that in the back of my head this whole time. It's like, don't know how I feel. And I'm frustrated about it.
Well, I guess our friend Simon, who I don't know if he listens to the pod or not. Who's to say? I know he has at some point.
He has. I know he has.
That's what I'm saying. I know he has at some point. I don't know if he continues to listen.
Good enough.
This will be a test.
This is a test, Simon.
Remember when it took AJ like 6 months, not 6 months, big exaggeration, but multiple months to
At
circle
least
back around and be like, oh, you guys, thanks for the shout out.
It was like 6
It
weeks or
was
something
it
like
was
that.
6 weeks. I think that's fair. I think that's okay.
But
But
Simon
he had texted us being like, I'm going to watch this movie. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then it took him 6 weeks.
He just started a law firm. He's got a
He
lot
got
going on.
busy.
Yeah, he got
Anyway, sorry,
engaged.
Sydney.
Like, he's
I'll stop
busy.
interrupting.
Hi AJ again. Let's see how long it'll take you. to
Yeah,
figure this
we're
shit out
timing you this time.
another time.
Shout out AJ's law firm.
Yeah. If you need lawyers, we know so many. God, we do need to talk about people that need lawyers in personal and private lives for all reasons. But Simon saw it at Sundance and he immediately texted us and was like, this movie is so good.
I wish I had remembered that earlier today.
Yeah.
And then I would have had the battle of those two things. But I mean, I think it is beautiful.
When we first heard about it and first were seeing teasers, I was like, oh, that looks super interesting. We should definitely do that for Pride, blah, blah, blah. And then as time went on, I kind of like lost my enthusiasm for it. I don't totally know why per se, so much as like, I think we just kind of heard about it sort of early. And then it was one of those things where it's like your anticipation doesn't build. It's like it just peters off at some point, and then you're like, okay, it's not here. I'm kind of over it. So I'm not sure what the deal was, but when I heard this Gabe Barbenheimer pitch, I was like, okay, I'm back in.
Interested.
Let's fucking go.
But I wasn't really sure what to expect necessarily. But I had a really good time when I went to see it. I felt like it was, I mean, it was opening night, so maybe that helped. Because I feel like the theater that I saw it in again last night was less engaged this time. But people were like really locked in. That like one really big jump scare in the movie, the dream one, let's call it. That one, like people like lurched in the audience. Like so many people jumped. Like one couple got up, immediately walked out afterwards after that scare. I was like, they can't handle it. I felt like people were like so invested that night, and I don't know. It did make, not just because they're both queer, but it made a really good pairing with Girls Like Girls, actually. If anybody else wants to engage with that. And well, because it's like they're both like queer, coming of age, discovering sexuality, small town, riding our bikes around, being like, do people know that we're hanging out? So at Fear, obviously big theme. But I thought they went really well together, and I thought it made for just like a wonderful viewing experience. And I liked it the second time too, but also the whole time I just was like, I wish I could watch this movie for a third time and sit there on my laptop taking notes. There were so many things that I was like, remember this, and I don't think I remembered half of it. So tragic.
The lady that was sitting in the row with me, she also walked out at some point, and then when I and like halfway through too, so maybe it like was kind of like right around that exact same time. But
people are like, that's too much for me. People told me this wasn't that scary.
When I was leaving the theater, I was like really shocked by how many like bras there were there all going like with the boys.
I hope they saw something beautiful or learned something new. Or
I hope they all kissed afterwards.
I hope they all started wrestling.
Okay,
got a little physical with it.
I feel that I was, from that moment when they wrestled, I was enthralled immediately. Whoa. I was like, oh my God, they should kiss. And then they did. And I was like, oh, this movie is giving me everything that I want.
You won't believe this. And then they did kiss. It's crazy. You'll never guess. No, okay. I was like so like sucked in immediately to the romance aspect of this because I am a sucker for boys kissing boys. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This right up my alley. That's my shit.
In the cup chair for the yaoi.
And I thought this. I am. I really am. And I am proud of it. I'm proud of it. It's a golden cuck chair that I'm sitting in. But anyway, I've really invested. But I just think that these two have such crazy good chemistry, which is so apparent. I mean, Joe and Stacy. Like, I love Australian names. A band named Stacy is important to me. And did you know also in Australia, a boy could be named Name?
I
learned.
I was shocked.
That was something that was a little hard for me as an American to get in on, especially at the end. Sorry to talk about the end for 5 seconds, but when Mia
Wasikowska.
Wasikowska was like, I just have to look at it. I was like, the letters could be anywhere, but I can say it if I can see it. Wasikowska. I've got a Polish fiance. Okay, I don't know if that's Polish, but it feels hella fucking Polish. Anyway,
Vibes.
she's screaming, "Name, name!" And I was like, did I not realize what his name was the entire time? And that name was Name. I think I just every
like when
time it
people
was
named
said, it was
Their
quick.
son's Guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know a guy named Guy who I really
Why
don't
is
like.
that so funny?
I know.
When
I
you
know
hear
a
their
guy.
whole name, it's like normal. You know what I mean? Guy Pierce or whatever. But
Yeah.
Guy Branum.
I
But
feel
then you
like if
break
your
it
name's
down and
Guy,
it's just
you have to
like,
be a firsty
oh,
lasty.
this guy
I know a
over
guy
here,
named
it's
Man.
like, that's true. That is
I know a
well,
guy
but that
named
wasn't
Man.
his given name. That
I
just
know, but
evolved
that's what he
that way,
goes
so
by.
That's true.
Hey, man.
That's just as powerful. It's just as powerful.
Naming my son
Anyway,
dude.
I think that they have such amazing chemistry, and that little like romance at the beginning was so lovely. I think for me, like parts of this movie distracted me from other parts of the movie. Does that make sense? I don't know. You know, the day that we did Evil Dead Rise, and it was the best day of my life, and I was like, "This is 100% best movie ever." I think that like this is the opposite day for me, where like I
Yeah.
just was kind of disgruntled. I had to Uber to the movie theater. It was really expensive. So it
Uber
was
to the
just
mover
like
theater.
putting me the mover theater. And I was very upsetting, and I didn't like it at all.
Okay, stop pretending to sound like me.
I'm so sorry.
You
Stolen
say
valor.
wrestling once. I'm just saying.
Wrestling.
That's your
Well,
one.
it's-
You've reached
I,
quota.
I honestly just kind of tripped over my tongue, and then I
Yeah.
tried to make it sound intentional. But anyway, I just was so overwhelmed by the amount of overlap this movie has visually with It Follows. It was so overwhelming to me in so many ways. The beginning, the way it starts out at the pool, that like there's that pool death for the first woman. They
In the
kill a
shower.
lesbian in the first dead lesbian in the first fucking 5 minutes. Very disheartening. And then the small town vibes moving around like that. And then I think, am I getting it confused with Teeth? I always do. Teeth is what I'm thinking of. In Teeth, there is a looming like
Smokestack.
industrial plant in the background of like every single shot. And that is the same thing here. That's what it was. It was Teeth and It Follows that really were just like overwhelming there. Because Teeth also has some similarities to It Follows too, and they're from a similar era. I feel like we talked about that back when we did those two movies. So obviously those are inspiration, I would hope, for this movie, and that's why. But there's just so much, and then just like the way that the big bad works in this movie, it's different. It's for sure super different than It Follows, but there's definitely some shared blood, some
Similarities.
shared DNA there. It's sexual attraction is part of it. That other one is more, and It Follows, it's more like a STD, it's sexually transmitted demon, you know, but this one is more like who you lust after comes after you, you know. It's definitely different, but there's so much overlap there. So I think a lot of the time I was playing like a comparison game in my mind. And then I did at times have some issues with some of the dialogue. It's not because it was Australian. It's not because they are speaking words that I'm not necessarily familiar with at all times. It was just like some of it was a little heavy handed for me. And then I feel like there's like a little bit of a pacing thing in the middle. But again, I only got to see it once, so I can't really like zoom in on it enough. But like the overarching like meat and potatoes of this movie, I think is really interesting, and it just makes me wish I had not read the Spark Notes to the Bible, so I could have known all the references to Leviticus that were happening in the movie because I listened to an interview and I was like, wow, that sounds really smart and interesting and insightful. There's like a lot of cool stuff that they did, but I wasn't familiar with that text, so it didn't jump out to me until I was listening after.
Yeah, my letterbox review for this one is if it follows and Teen Yowie had a baby.
Yes.
Like, that's exactly what it was like giving to me. And I didn't hate it, like, because I very much liked It Follows. And so this was kind of like a new like not refreshing, because again, it's just kind of heating up the same nachos, but I didn't hate it. Like, know what I mean? Where like sometimes when they like you do the read thing, you're just like, ugh. Like I was still like very involved. Like it was like
it's a good idea.
Different enough that you were like, you're like, I see where the inspiration come from, but like, what can we do?
And what an interesting take on like conversion therapy in religious spaces too. Like to make the conversion itself like a supernatural thing, because like religion innately has supernatural elements to it. I mean, The Exorcist, yeah, but like there's the demonology and all of that.
There's like sects of Christianity where they like handle snakes and like talk to snakes.
Yeah.
And...
Hey, there's a snake in the beginning of this movie. What's that mean, Chelsea? You read the Bible?
There's a bunch of churches like that. The Pentecostal church.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
They're all over here. We knew some snake handling preachers back in the day.
What does it mean that the snake at the beginning ate a frog and then they threw frogs at him later on in the movie? Is the frog a plague? Is the frog one of the plagues?
The frog is a plague. Yeah.
The frog is one of the plagues.
The frog is one of the plagues.
Say more.
First may I say, I don't know why I was shocked. But when I sat down in theaters to watch this movie and realized it was a conversion therapy movie, I was shocked that it was biblical in nature and Christian in nature. And then I was like, why did that not occur to me? The name is Leviticus. But I was thinking about it, and maybe because we'd seen or covered Hellraiser recently, where it was like lament, Leviathan, blah blah blah. It was like didn't even like track my radar. But yeah, there's a lot of biblical stuff happening in this movie. Leviticus is the part of the Bible that has the beautiful frog. Thank you, Monica. She's showing off her frog coin purse.
It's a taxidermy frog.
We love it.
Keep
gorgeous.
Talking.
And if I were a snake,
keep doing a little bit of this.
I'd chomp it. But Leviticus is the part of the Bible where it says like, oh, a man shall not lay with a man as he lays with a woman.
Yeah.
And there are, I saw
homophobic shit in there.
Yeah, maybe the same interview. I don't know, but I saw an interview where they were talking about the stoning elements of it, the throwing rocks that happens in this movie. That the director confirmed was a biblical reference, but also had like a lot more going on to it. He talked about how originally Hunter, the preacher's son character, who also has his little, I don't know that it would necessarily, well, maybe for him it's a romance. But he has a little situationship going on with Ryan as well, played by Stacy. And originally something started as just like tossing little things at each other, you know, like pens,
like little flirtation,
paper clips, just like kind of like pulling your pigtails type of stuff is kind of
like
the way that I think
or
of
like
it.
Elbowing your friend, that sort of thing, when you have a crush on them.
Those little things that are like kind of annoying, but also kind of being just like, I'm paying attention to you and I want you to pay attention to me. And then it kind of just evolved from there, and it turned more physical, and it became a little more almost violent. Obviously becomes like much more violent in the movie with what we see. But it became more violent kind of in the same way that Name and Ryan in the beginning are getting like pushing each other, getting physical with each other, because it kind of allows for this like physical contact that is appropriate, that can kind of test the waters of like, we're touching each other. How do we feel about this? What does this lead to? When tensions are high, or when we're getting like worked up, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for you? But the snake and the frog thing, I specifically had in my notes to be like, look up what this means. And I don't know that I have like a clear read on it necessarily. It's one of the things I'd like to discuss. But as mentioned in Exodus, frogs are of the plagues a lot for the most part. They're mentioned a
Pestilence.
couple of other times as well. And in one of the other ones, I think in Revelations, they're really used sort of to signify that there's some sort of like demon being deceitful. And then, as we know, the snake often represents, or the serpent often represents Satan in the Bible. So that the snake is eating the frog. I'm kind of like, to put it more simply, Google's AI overview. And I kind of agreed with part of this once I read some more of the passages for myself. But Google AI overview said frogs appear as powerful symbols of God's judgment and demonic deceit. And then it also said that snakes primarily serve as powerful symbols of deception, evil, and temptation.
Yeah.
Temptation.
Yeah,
Yes.
particularly as
something.
in the Garden of Eden, as we know.
Yes. Which
But
was all
so
Adam's
if
fault. You
we,
can't tell me otherwise. So sorry. Like Adam was
What'd
the
you
one.
say?
oh, I thought you were talking about her Adam for a second. I was like, what did
Actually,
he do?
yeah,
It's
it's all
Adam's
Adam's
fault.
fault. He is named after Adam and a man. Therefore,
Why
his
would
fault
he do that?
directly.
Fucked up.
Why would he do that?
Oh,
don't
I
know.
thought you were
have
going to talk more
nothing. I
about Garden
can't
of
defend
Eden.
him.
But again, the entire time I was watching this movie, the only thing that just kept replaying in my head is there's no kind of love like Christian hate.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, in terms of that biblical symbolism or what that meant, I don't know, it kind of feels more like to be synthesized at the end of the movie, maybe.
Yeah.
If the frog is like God's judgment, God casts judgment upon you, and Satan is the serpent, but Satan eats God's judgment and swallows it whole. To me, it's kind of a thesis statement on the film of like, who cares if these people think that you are Satan?
Yeah.
And would cast plagues upon you, they would be happy to see you dead rather than gay. So swallow them whole, queen.
did we
Also,
get
yeah.
the lovely Black Phillip puzzle?
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
another Leviticus thing. What is it though? I watched this interview and this lady was like, "Yeah, there are all these Leviticus references, like this, the fucking goat," and I was like, "Okay, but say what it means. Can you say what it means?" She was
Google
just
AI
flexing that
overview
she
once
knew. She
again.
was just
Sorry to
flexing.
them. But it says God outlines the Day of Atonement, introducing a ritual involving two goats. One is sacrificed as a sin offering to God, the other a scapegoat or goat for Azazel. Has the people's sins
Azazel.
symbolically placed on its head before being sent into the wilderness to carry them away. So one is a sin and one carries our sins. Let me see.
Yeah, well, maybe the boys are sort of like the sacrificial lamb, sacrificial goats in that story,
Mm.
in a way, because they're kind of being scapegoated. Haha! I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry, but kind of.
Well,
A little bit.
also,
They kind of.
they either will die or they'll leave and have to leave behind what they know and go live on their own in the wilderness with what
Yeah.
others perceive to be the sins that they
Exactly.
carry with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, we're on something. Hey, you hear that? Hear that? That was pretty smart. If Dr. Stefan could see us now, that was my English teacher who taught the Bible, and I read the Spark Notes on the Bible, and I'm sorry again. But yeah, I think one of the coolest, not coolest, but most horrific, honestly, but interesting juxtapositions in this film is like the pure innocent affection that these boys are sharing with each other, and then the like black blind hatred of the adults in this situation, and like the juxtaposition between those two things, because they see what these boys are doing as this horrible sin that's so awful. Meanwhile, Mia what, I have to look at it.
Wasikowska.
Wasikowska. I lose the letters and their order. It's
That
like they
last
fly
K
around. I get
particularly.
dyslexia for a minute. Arlene, fucking Arlene. That's her name. She would be an Arlene.
Arlene,
Sorry.
not Eileen?
I think it's
Arl
Arlene.
Those
Arlene.
Australian accents
I
really will
was
play
gonna
tricks
try to
on
do
you.
one right now, and I immediately stopped myself from trying, just so I don't offend a whole group of people. Arlene, um, literally forsakes her son and she forsakes her, in my opinion, her role as a mother
Mother.
completely, because as a mother you're supposed to care for your child and protect them, and she doesn't care about his safety, his physical safety. She just cares about his, like, the way he, like, will, like, come up on judgment day, her idea of what, like, saving his soul. So I get where she's, like, thinks she's coming from, but she's literally willing to have him die in order to, like, cure him of this ill. You can't see my scare quotes. It's just so horrific. Her character in this is so dark, so cold, and there was so much about her that I didn't understand. One, because it got lost in the accent for me and I needed subtitles for a second or to watch it one more time. And two, just because, like, she really values the Lord over her son, and it's really hard to watch.
Yeah, I have obviously I don't like the mom, but I have some complicated feelings about her because I think Name said something like she really just is unable to see anything that she can't handle right now, and she can't handle very much at all because she is still so clearly grieving her husband, and the death of her husband is like what led her to get really into religion, move them here to be part of this church. And to me, what I think is interesting about her character is that she justifies this as trying to not even his immortal soul, protecting his immortal soul, but protecting him on this planet on Earth is part of how she justifies it by her to herself by saying clearly Hunter got killed because he's gay, so I need to make you not gay so that you don't also. They're like, I'm saving you from a life of homophobia. Like, it kind of made me think of Sarah Jessica Parker a little bit in that Christmas movie that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head right now, but I was singing it to myself earlier,
Oh, is
with
it the
Diane Keaton.
stone? The family
Yeah,
stone?
Family Stone, where there's that whole big fight at the dinner table when she's saying like you wanted your kid to be gay,
Yes.
and she was like not trying to, she was being homophobic but she wasn't trying to be homophobic, but to her she was saying like, why would you want your kid to face any more adversity than they have to? There's already, this world is hard enough already, like don't you want them to
Mm-hmm.
face as little adversity as possible? um but I think with the mom here, while you can see that that is part of her justification, it really just kind of gets lost and drops away when he's going, I'm scared. Something is happening. I don't feel safe. And she's going, well, I've got to get to the church or whatever. So make yourself dinner. Like, you're on your own. I've done my part, which is de-gaying you. And now I think honestly she's having some complicated feelings about the fact that she did this once she and so she's just like tuning out and going away and trying not to see it at all. But I
But
don't
the
know. I think
reveal
that
that
that is
she
what's.
knew the nature of what it was is crazy to me.
I don't think
That's
she
how
has a. I don't think she knows it will kill him regardless. Is what I think is
she
happening in this
does
movie.
know.
I think she knows like if he gives into temptation, it'll kill him, and so she's trying to be like, be afraid of temptation, so you'll always avoid it, and then you'll be safe.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well,
There's
that's what I.
no world. There's no. I understand justifying it from a religious perspective or whatever, but it's just really hard for me to understand because no matter what she's doing, she's putting her son in harm's way because she's not giving him any other resources to pray the gay away. It's literally a scared straight program, no joke. It's like maybe be so scared of this fucking demon thing that you never kiss another man again. But like that's not going to work. And also, it like is it's trying to convince him to make out every single time. So it's not like even if he wanted to, even if any of these boys or the girls who are also had to deal with this wanted to like be straight or pretend they weren't queer or something like that, this is like temptation beyond the average like temptation walking down the street. You walk down the street and you're gay and you see someone and you're like, damn, they're hot. You're not going to jump on them immediately because you're a human with self-restraint. You know what I mean? But if you're in a alone, because you have to be alone for this to happen, you're all alone, there's no one else there, and they come up to you, they look like the person that you care about the most or you are the most into, and then they're saying whispering sweet nothings to you. It's like an insurmountable task. I don't know, it's just like it feels like it was sold, like this is a justification I can give to her. It was sold to her as a cure, but it's actually a way to exterminate gay people is what it feels like to me. It's just the church like killing everyone off. And that's why the pastor's like faith seems to be fucking shattered by this event because he trusted whoever this spooky priest is who
Deliverance healer.
Yeah,
puts
the deliverance guy.
deliverance healer who gives them this horrible curse. He trusted him and trusted the church and trusted in the word of God, and in reality what it was something that was hell bent on killing his son, and he basically signed like his death certificate, signed his own son's death certificate by putting him in this situation. So it's just like it totally destroyed his faith. And so I guess I can see your perspective where Mia Wasikowska is like, Kauska, fucking Christ, is like, okay, this is more intense than I thought it was going to be, but if I just believe hard enough and pretend it's not so bad, then maybe it's not so bad. But like it just comes across, of course, so callous and unfeeling and uncaring. And she
Yeah.
never has a redemption arc, which I think is good.
No,
Yeah,
I
she
think
doesn't
it's
deserve one.
I think it's
Yeah.
good that she doesn't have a redemption arc. I do think, and I don't think this would be redeeming regardless. But I think we see a little bit of a narrow perspective of what this deliverance looks like, and we hear a little about like, oh, there's this guy, I hear he had kids now, so like maybe it is survivable, but it's like we see
Yeah.
someone who's surviving it, Jessica, in the hospital, and it's like that doesn't look like a good survival, you know what I mean?
No.
She has to be at the hospital all of the time. Even then she's like doing that like mental health tactic of like snapping the rubber band against your wrist so much or so hard that she's got multiple little bloodlines where it's cut into her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand what the deal was with her at the hospital when they were talking outside and she was getting agitated, and then all of a sudden the security was there being like, boys, get away, blah 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 blah. Like, was she a patient? Was she not a patient? Was she able to move freely? Is she a pest at the hospital to them?
Yeah, I think
That's
like
the part of the movie I fucking hated so much, and it took me out of it so much. I was like, is this bad? Sorry. I told you I was in a bad mood. But I was like having a good time, and then it got to that part and I was like, this is so overdone, and like you can have drama, but it was just like it felt like too much and cheesy to me in that moment. And it
I
didn't
think
totally make
she
sense,
was
but I
like
think she was a patient.
I think she wasn't. Like I heard like I kept like I thought I heard the or maybe they were talking to the boys, but they were like, You're not even a patient here," like blah 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 blah. Like I thought I heard one of them, or like, "We've talked about this." Like, "You're not
Yeah,
even a
but why
patient
would they be
here."
talking? Oh, that's what. Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
then
I
why would they be
think
dragging her back towards the hospital when she's outside of the hospital? That's the part that made no sense to me.
I don't fully have a grasp on what's happening, but I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like she's gotten in trouble there enough times for making some sort of scene, presumably because she's like seeing, I don't know, whatever the entity, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
And so she's like making a scene, or she's getting scared, or she's reacting to something that other people can't see, which alarms them. And so I think, if she's sitting there quietly, even though she's kind of on their shit list for whatever capacity, she can kind of get away with it. But then the second that she's making some sort of scene again, they're like, this girl is back and she's not doing well again. So it's like, maybe we need to bring her inside to be checked out. Maybe she's having another episode of some kind. For the most part, if she's harmless and just sitting there quietly, it's easier to just let her do that than like try to trespass her or whatever. But yeah, I thought that what was interesting about the deliverance that they offer and it as a metaphor for conversion therapy is that it so often is pitched in real life to parents as like, this is the only way that your child can have a happy, successful adulthood one day. They need to go through this even if it's hard. And I think that's the same thing with, to use your same term but less literally, scared straight boot camps for troubled teens, like the one Paris Hilton went to, where they're essentially just being, abused in the wilderness or whatever, away from any possible support systems or ways to ask for help from people outside of the program. And we've seen documentaries about that sort of thing, but the parents are so like willing to believe that this is something that is helping their child, that is also easier for them than facing that whatever issue head on. I don't think it is
blind
like
desperation, but
blind
she knew it was a
desperation,
demon.
or I think she must have heard these like success stories of like, oh, there's a man who had kids now or whatever, so he must be doing fine. And I think it just is very literal of a drop from real life into supernatural story, of how people are happy for their child to be depressed, suicidal, suppressing parts of themselves, hiding parts of themselves, living in fear of who they are or what they might do or the ways they might give into temptation, as long as they're not like getting gay with it.
No, it's so horrific and it feels so callous and inhuman the way that she acts in this. But then like it is an extreme version, but like or supernaturally extreme version, but this is actually a a common occurrence. Not to the supernatural extent, but trying to change your child to fit with your ideology, and it's really really scary. It's just so, yeah.
To go back a little to what we were talking about a few conversation beats ago, in terms of parallels to other movies, I do think it is really interesting. I'm glad you brought up Teeth because that is like my number one comparison for me, even though It Follows obviously has a lot of, I would say they're almost more like superficial comparisons than they are thematic comparisons, the way that Teeth is. Because it's kind of more like the design of how things function rather
The
than like
progression.
the
Yeah.
message. It follows because there's like two things that I was thinking about a lot in the movies last night, and I don't know for sure that I remember the second one. It might have been Smile, because I've been thinking about Smile last night and today for unrelated reasons, so I don't know for sure if that was it, but it might have been Smile. But Teeth especially, It Follows is like, I was thinking about it in the car earlier. Obviously, it has the sexual component, and it has the concept of someone who looks like they could be a normal person, so could conceivably be there, who's approaching you, but nobody else can see them, and they mean to harm you. But that movie, I think we must have talked about it. This must have been part of the conversation. That's part of why it's in my brain. Really feels like a metaphor for sexual assault and sexual trauma, and the way that you're going into what you hope is like a happy romantic interaction with someone or whatever, and you come away from it traumatized, and it pops up in all of these surprising unexpected places. It can be something totally mundane at first. It can be a loved one triggers you in some way, meaning on purpose or not, because they have violated some boundary or not. But just the way that it can come out of nowhere and just follow you and stick with you. And then this movie with teeth, it not just the, again, aesthetic parallels of the smokestack in the background, the small sort of run downtown, but the way it really is positioning teens to be afraid of their sexualities and the way it uses that to control them and their behaviors, and it's like, this is the only way to be good, is to like shove this down and ignore this part of yourself, and if you acknowledge it in any way you will be punished. And obviously that movie is doing like a slightly different thing with it, but that to me was like the most one-to-one. And then I think Smile was more like the way it is in your head and the way it can use what's in your head to manipulate you to be
Get you
like,
to do.
don't you want to come over here with me? Or can't I placate you enough until I can get close to you and wrap my hands around your throat? And especially that scene where it's like in his bathroom where it's like sticking its hand down his mouth or whatever.
Yeah. That part, I think that's like, I think I love the overarching storyline of this movie and so many of the emotional beats and the performances, but some of the actual factual horror aspects of the movie, the like wow gotcha parts, like almost all of them bothered me. Like the dream jump scare, I get it's like a Freddy Krueger thing. I fucking rolled my eyes. It scared me for sure, but it was so gimmicky to me. I'm so sorry. I just have seen that like dream scare so many times. So that felt a little trite. And then also the like shoving the hand down the throat thing too. I was like, okay, why is it doing that all of a sudden? Like, why is it doing that all of a sudden? It's not doing that any of the other times. I don't know. It just like
We didn't see. We couldn't see him.
it was choking him every other time. You could see the fingers
It
on
was
their
supposed to be
throats.
phallic.
It's like holding you while it, I don't know, maybe.
Choke on it, Monica.
Well, I didn't like it, so it was fine. I just thought that, like, I think that the mastery of this movie is in parts other than the horror aspects. I think that that is what could be improved upon because the whole idea for the film is so fresh and so exciting and also horrific and sad, to be clear. But I think that those aspects of it were using a lot of things that were a little overdone, or like performances were a little bit weak, which I think was the case with the girl who was screaming outside the hospital. I just thought that was like overacted kind of it, and it was kind of crazy and it made me cringe. So anyway,
Yes,
I think that's I figured out what made me upset. I figured it out. There we go.
But have you considered that she's played by Dot from The Wilds? So did
Have
you
you
even
considered
think
that
about
I
that?
haven't seen that movie?
I also
I've
haven't
that
seen
show.
that movie.
Well,
I haven't seen it.
She's one half of my lesbian ship on that show. So, I think you should consider that next time first.
I'm sure she's great in the more strictly lesbian space, but in the screaming mental patient space, it was a little overdone.
Yeah,
But
I think, I mean, also, she says one of the lines that I did hear people talking about after I saw the movie the first time, where she's explaining that like it will show up as who, even if you guys stay away from each other and move on, it'll show up as whoever you're most interested in. It could be your gym teacher, even if that's a little inappropriate. It could be your celebrity crush. I
oh my
love
god,
that
imagine
part.
me and well, no, okay, I wasn't Nick Jonas's boy, but I just imagine it being Nick Jonas when I was in high school.
Okay, what I'm saying is
And you would have
imagine
been
that
like,
you
Nick Jonas is here to make out with me. Oh my god, and then you'd be dead.
And then I'd be dead. I would have been dead.
If
Because
my
Monica would have
celebrity
been like,
crush
yes,
showed
of course,
up.
Nick Jonas is coming there to find
I would be like,
me.
because I really thought that Nick Jonas and I would at least be friends. So I would have been like, he's here finally. I
Nick
had a whole
Jonas.
plan for if he ever came over to my house that I'd rip down all my posters in my room really fast.
Really quickly.
Anyway,
what
so
I'm
you were
saying,
saying something?
though.
You were
Nick
saying
Jonas
something,
on the
Chelsea?
pod when?
these girls were like, if my celebrity crush showed up, obviously I'd be like, this is not real. And I was like, no, if your celebrity crush showed up all of a sudden, how would you be able to totally resist even just like considering it for a second? Like, wouldn't you feel like frozen on the spot? And then I was also thinking about all of those all of those Wattpad fan fictions where
Oh my
girls get sold
God.
to One Direction. And I was thinking about like, what if you were a little bisexual girl or a gay guy and you got a deliverance healed and all of One Direction suddenly was showing up at your bus stop and
What are
making
you
their
gonna
way
do?
towards you?
What
All
are
of a
you
sudden,
gonna
Oh no,
do?
my mom
member
said
of
there's
One
One
Direction is
Direction.
here.
Oh no, I've got my hair up in a messy bun, and my mom sold me to One
Yes,
Direction.
I'm wearing my Converse. I come downstairs. Here's One Direction to kill me.
I would be like, and it's time to go. And it's time to go. You're like, oh, whoa, they're choking me. I didn't know they were into freaky stuff like
You'd be
this.
like,
And
yes,
then by the
I
time you
love
realize
this.
you're dying, it's too late. And it's
If
fine. And
Charlie's
you're
Angel
actually
Lucy
bliss.
Lou shows up and is trying to hit me with that ruler, I would not run away immediately.
No, I'd be like, okay, I know she's had sex with a ghost, so I know that she's into freaky stuff. And so this makes sense.
Exactly.
I'd sing the Barracuda song a little louder and then die.
And it would be a hero's death, quite frankly.
It would be a hero's death. It would be a hero's death. That's so fucking funny. That's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, that part was brutal. And then like, I don't know. Just the nature of this at all. It's just like someone that you care about. It doesn't if it's not Nick Jonas and it's not One Direction. Like it's someone that you trust and you know
Yeah.
very well. And especially in this exact context, these boys are in a small town. It's an incredibly religious community. They're singing Christian songs that fucking blow, not even the hits.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. No, our God is the awesome God. They do original songs there, and Mia is singing it out, and her voice sounded really nice. Honestly, I have to say, I noticed that, and it sounded good. But like, they are so ostracized, and they just have each other. The only people in the world who know are the two of them, and also for Ryan, I guess Hunter also knows.
Yeah. And Jessica.
And Jessica. But like,
the sister who's
Yeah.
evil,
They're-
who wants to get them gay bashed.
it's just so scary. There is no one to trust, not even themselves.
Yeah.
They can't even trust what they're even seeing. It's just like completely shattering of everything that could make them feel at peace.
That is one of the things that is tough for me about the mom. I mean, obviously, she just like wish that she would have gone to therapy instead of church. Think it could have been better for everybody.
Could do a little
but-
combo pack, maybe different church, maybe different church.
Right.
Maybe just like open heart. Okay, it can happen. David Archuleta or whatever came out to his mom. Remember this whole story? This in the news came out to his mom. His
that was
mom
one of my
was like
crushes.
terrified of that, and then 6 months later, she was like, "If the church says you're going to hell, then the church can go to hell. I'm coming with you." And so she also left her
People continue to have a
religious community behind because her son and his happiness was important to her.
Let's not forget 9th grade when I told my parents that I was bisexual and didn't believe in God, and they immediately sent me to Jesus camp. And jokes on them, I made out with everybody. And
That's what's
then
happening at Jesus
later,
camp, girl.
like, you know,
The
fast
counselors
forward
aren't always watching.
to later, and Mark was like, I'm so proud of you for like living, like being open. And I go, dude, I told you this when I was 15. And he goes, yeah, we thought you were just like joking. And I go, I had a live-in girlfriend at one point in a studio apartment. And he was just like, nah. Okay.
I just like that Jesus camp was like for fun and for giggles. Like, girl, what did you think that you sent me there for? I guess the don't believe in God part, maybe. They're like, well, I got that
Still don't
for
believe
us.
in that
Okay,
either.
you guys pay attention.
They were like,
Dude.
yeah. I was like, they knew that was real, but they thought the bisexuality was fake. And I was like, biphobic parents.
Classic.
Yeah, no.
But
We won't get into what my parents said.
but yeah, I mean, with the mom, one of the things that really irks me is the way in the beginning of the movie she's like, you haven't made a single friend since we've been here. But of course, as soon as he is finding somebody that makes him happy, that he's connecting with, that he feels like he wants to spend time with and brings happiness to his life, so he's not sitting in his room listening to side trance or whatever. Um, all of a
Do that
sudden,
anymore,
it's like,
Chelsea.
yeah, that's 3 years ago. Excuse me. Let me get up to date. Um, all of a sudden, like, he's not doing it right, but she's not facilitating anything else. She's only bringing him to church and being like, here, this 12-year-old is like kind of near your age. Have you met Hunter? He's definitely, he's the pastor's son. So what could go wrong there with hanging out? But just, I think it is so classic, is they're like, you're not doing it right, do it the way I want you to do it, and then you start doing it, and then they're like, no, that's also not right, and in fact that's worse than before. And it's like, well, can you just support me if I find things that make me happy? Maybe.
Can you just support me one time?
That really is so much to ask.
Anyway, as far as this movie that we're talking about, I also will say something that I thought was cool, and I don't know their exact ages, but something the director was talking about that was important to him was like making this movie feel more real and realistic by casting actors who were actually, if not exactly, around a little bit the age of the characters that they're playing. So it feels more real, and they really feel like these young, innocent folks, like children who are going through this agony. Um, and I think that that was really, really felt. I can't get over it. Joe has such a like amazing face. He's so cute. I love him so much. He's so emotive, and also like Stacy, I've not seen him in anything before, but he was really, really powerful too. And also just like the idea of being stalked, and I feel like this will really resonate with Sydney, by a blonde man.
I know.
This is this is horror on levels that we've never seen
Here's
before.
the
This
thing.
is
At
something
least
beyond. And he's got that cute fuckboy haircut too. Damn.
I liked his little haircut and
Oh,
all
he
his
he looks really
rings.
cute.
I just kept looking at his hands, which is in fact really gay of me,
He looked like a good
but
Ugh.
kisser.
yeah.
Oh my
That
god, they
like
both
hair
had hot
tussle, the
rings.
hands on the hair in the beginning.
His little earring. Oh my god,
Yeah.
they're so
I love men
cute.
that
They're
wear
so cute.
rings. I like men
Yeah.
that wear jewelry. Sue me.
No, I love that. I love a dude with a sense of style who's not afraid to show it. But I think also something that I really thought was a smart way to do it, just overarching with the whole story, is having it be firmly in name slash Joe Bird's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that really, apparently they played around like with the idea of switching perspectives, like getting into Ryan's perspective, maybe probably not Hunter's, in some of the early stages of writing. But I think it's much more powerful for it to like stay in Joe's perspective, and so you can see all the ways that this looks. Like you can see how horrific it is when it's not happening to you, and you're seeing
As like an
one, the guy you
outsider.
like talking to, that whole sequence. Guy, he likes talking to himself. That's weird. What the fuck is going on? And then going into the photo booth, pulling out those photo strips with the weird, gross, like empty makeout pictures, and his mouth is so strange, and all of that. I thought that was really effective horror. The way he was thrown around was so scary. Um, and also, like, the most brilliant part I thought, like graphic horror wise, was like the scare you get after they'd gone on the bus trip to go visit that beautiful, powerful lesbian woman.
Jessica.
And Jessica. And they've had this sexual experience on the way home. And part of that, which was a great hot thing. I've actually been in a bus where lesbians have been fucking in the back of the bus, and just to be there was so powerful, and so it really brought me back to the West Coast College tour. So that was really powerful to me.
It really brought me
but
back to 8th grade.
Ugh. See, everybody was getting it except for me in high school, so I couldn't relate. But I was near other people who were gay getting it one time,
My
so
middle
that's
school
my
class
touch
made
point.
the Atlanta news for being hypersexual, like early teens, because
Oh my god!
on our competitive choir trip to Disney,
Stop!
2 girls and 1 guy were like 2 girls were giving 1 guy a blowjob on like the back
Oh,
seat of the bus.
you've actually told me this before.
Yeah. And then one of the girls started dating the guy, and then the other girl got jealous and told her mom, and then it became a whole thing. And then later
wow.
that
You should have just had
same
2
week,
girlfriends.
a girl gave a guy a blowjob in the back of art class, and everybody was like, "What is going on with the 14-year-old?"
Those 14-year-olds are too horny. We gotta reel them in. That's
So we
so
were
fucking
on
funny.
Atlanta News.
That's so funny. But anyway, like in that sexual experience they have on the bus ride home, part of it is Name's character like licking Ryan's ear, which I was like, ooh, a little ear play. And then you see that turned around into a horror aspect later on when Ryan goes into the bathroom and gives Name a look to, hey, come into the bathroom with me. But Name's too scared, so he doesn't go in.
Well, he's about to go in, and then he gets jostled by a girl
Yeah.
passing by, and he gets just like, there's people
Well,
around.
yeah, I
I
think
guess
he
I
like
can't.
he gets. I think he
Yeah.
gets like overwhelmed, and he's like, "Oh, I don't
Mhm.
feel like I should go in there,"
Now the
and he
bell's
doesn't go
ringing.
in. But Ryan doesn't know that. He thinks he
Mhm.
would come right in. He wasn't alone a few seconds ago, and
Mhm.
then his ear is ripped in half, probably by him using that same move that drove him crazy in the bus. And I thought that was such a good detail. I loved that. And then I loved his ear scar for the rest of the movie, and I'm really happy they could put it back together.
All the blood that was pulling out. At one point, it like gushed, and I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
The head
No, I
bleeds a lot.
thought it was super, super effective the way that Name witnesses 2 attacks, but from an outside perspective, and we as the audience don't even get the inside perspective until it's happening to Name, because it really shows you how it can seem so real, how it can really present itself in a way that you're not suspicious of at all. It can
No.
so fly under the radar, um, and just like lure you in a little bit. I mean, it's like in that one, in that first one especially, it's so interesting because he's so almost like affectionate so quickly when they're so close to the people around. But it did raise a question for me. I wish that the costume designer on this film, her name is Zoe Costello, I think. Zoe Castellano. I really wish that she had been like Blair James on Obsession, where she made 5,000 TikToks talking about putting together every single
I
outfit,
know.
because I'm really, really curious about the design behind like why is the entity wearing this outfit in this scene, which I didn't feel like I had a lot of insight on necessarily, because at the funeral
He
it
was
makes
in a
sense.
lot of
It's
bro
wearing
tanks.
Yeah, it's wearing what he's wearing at the funeral. But then when Name doesn't quite make it onto the bus coming home from the hospital pre-hand job, and then it's like coming towards him around the bus, it's wearing a different outfit than he's wearing in that
Yeah.
moment, which helps in the moment for you to like distinguish, even though you're like looking at the real Ryan right here, it's like, that's not the real Ryan. But
Is
again,
wearing
if
that
you
tank top that he thought he looked
from that
sexy
first
is in.
day. Yes, from that first kiss moment. So that one I thought was super interesting. I think another time he's wearing the outfit that Ryan has on when they meet with the deliverance healer for the first time. That like Henley.
Which
He's
he
wearing
Yeah.
his
also
like
looked really good
school
in.
outfit a lot of the times. But I would love to have more insight into like why this outfit in this scene for some of them.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. I also, this is going back randomly, but for some reason, because again, I didn't really know I didn't really know what like the full extent of the story was going to be. I only watched that one trailer and that was it. Um, but in the actual like I don't know, exorcism, gay exorcism, lol. Oh, we could name the episode that. There you go. But like I just didn't expect the convulsing, and that was another like really effective horror moment for me too, because the boys had been so flippant about it, and Stacy slash sorry Ryan had even said like, oh, they've done this to me before. Doesn't he say something like that?
Hunter
Or
said,
been
like, this is just a show for gullible parents.
Yeah, and
oh, it
Ryan
was
said,
Hunter
"Oh, my
saying
parent
that.
is one of those."
Okay, yeah. I thought they were like, "Oh, I've seen this before and it doesn't matter. It's just silly." I thought one of them was saying that to the other. Um and then like for it and it seemed like the guy seemed like he had no idea what he was doing and it seemed so
There's glory in
half-assed.
all of
And
God's
then it just
temperatures.
that shit was so fucking funny. It was everybody. Okay, my theater at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday was popping off today, by the way. It was almost full. So that was crazy. That was a powerful moment. But yeah, that like switch and then the convulsing and the vomiting and the seizure and oh my god, it was just so unexpected and also like having that perspective to see Joe. I keep saying his real person name, not name.
Name. I keep saying his real person name. Name.
Name. Is so crazy and something that we haven't even touched on at all and is kind of the crux, not the crux, but like a huge part of this movie is the deceit from Name that starts them on this whole road. I mean, you can't blame it all on Name, but also like his jealousy and pain that he felt when he saw the guy that he really cares for, Ryan, making out with Hunter, making out with somebody else, and also hitting him with rocks. So he's like, okay, what the fuck? He doesn't even hit me with rocks. Um, that's crazy.
Like, I'd love to be hit by a rock,
I would
but
love to
that's
be hit
cool,
by a
I guess.
rock, and he doesn't even hit me with rocks, and I think that that's really fucked up. But like that agony, it was just that part was so hard to watch him make this horrible choice. He's
Yeah.
outing the person he cares about most because he's just trying to break them up. Like I don't know if it's truly that petty or if he's just trying to like hurt them in the only way he knows how because he's so hurt. But that was like his original sin. It's not that he's gay, it's that
Yeah.
he, forsook his fellow queers.
Yeah. No, I think the movie could have done a little bit of a better job giving you insight into Name's queer journey because it kind of drops you in this moment where he's connecting with Ryan and their connection is like a little tenuous at first. They just are kind of dancing around each other a little bit, but once they do connect, it feels so like natural to them in so many ways and so easy for them in so many ways. And they have such great flowing chemistry, the way that they flirt, especially once you see them and they're like lying down in the mill, sharing the cigarette, being like, oh, there's nothing you like here about this town. Yeah, there's nothing. I like you. It's so easy to just be like, they're so flirty with each other. You forget. Um, but there are details there that kind of show that even though it seems effortless at points, there is a lot more internal tension going on for Name when they're
Hmm.
leaving the mill that first time.
He sees them making out.
Yes, and
And
well, when
the reflection of their intimacy and it like looking it in the face like terrifies him.
yeah, Ryan is like reaching for his pants in that moment too, and it's like
Hmm.
that's scary. That's too far. I'm not ready for that. I don't really know what this. I was like, go. I this
Well,
electricity of you're on top of me, and it's charged, and now we're kissing, and that feels good. But now I have to look at it. But then it's like
yeah,
they're
I think
leaving
it
the
was the
mill.
like the facing his queerness and seeing him having this feeling, but like seeing that it's with another boy because he's
Mhm.
obviously got internalized homophobia. I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that was one detail when they're leaving the mill. He says like, "Oh, have you ever been to the mill before?" Um And so they kind of have this like shrouded discussion a little bit where Ryan is saying like, no, I've never been to the mill before. He doesn't disclose, I have been hooking up with Hunter on and off or whatever.
Mhm.
So
They
Sam
don't go to
also
the
has
mill,
this
they throw
idea.
rocks at each other.
Yeah, they
It's
hang out in the
different.
backyard.
They
This
do
is
it
the
a little
first
different.
time. He's like, this is our spot. The backyard is our spot. It's different.
But I think name is, it does feel like this is like a discovery for him. This is like totally new for him in this
Yeah, I
moment.
agree.
And then when he talks to the police
Makes
later
it all
after
the more
he's seen
meaningful.
Hunter be killed, he's saying like, I had this feeling that I've been scared of my whole life, and Ryan shares this feeling. So I think you can, the movie could have done a little bit of a better job, but I think you can allow the tiniest smidgen of grace for a possible chance that he like is struggling more than we see with what's going on with him and what this means for him. And if Ryan
Yeah.
is hooking up with this other guy, did Ryan lie to him? Is Ryan
Mhm.
messing, like, what's going on? Maybe it's not this like innocent beautiful thing that I thought, and there's something darker or worse or yuckier here. And so I'm going
Yeah.
to this leader in my community. I am a little bit going to be like, can you stop? Because that's actually my boyfriend is
That's my
for sure
man.
part of it. Can
Uh-huh.
you? It's actually about both of them. So I need Hunter to back off, but I also need Ryan to stay away from Hunter. So if
Yeah.
somebody could intervene here, that would be great. But I think it is also like he's so scared of what this means for him that he's going to get guidance. It's easier to talk about, oh, my friend, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? The classic, I have this friend who is having these feelings. And now he
Yeah.
can very literally be like, there are these two other people. And then I think what is kind of not redeeming about it, but what gives you insight into the fact that this isn't like totally mean spirited, petty teenage bullshit is like the instant that they have this deliverance healer come in and he sees how fucking terrifying and freaky it is, and they're like seizing on the floor and throwing up, and everybody's like cool with it. He is so immediately concerned, trying to check in with them, trying to be like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Trying to intervene,
Mhm.
even when Ryan is like, you should not be talking to me in public. Like, this is dangerous for you to be associating with me anywhere that at all, but anywhere that people could see, especially your mom is here, your mom was there, your mom's part of the church, she's gonna draw conclusions from this, and they're right conclusions, but the mom wouldn't know that just from them talking. But even
Yeah.
that alone, he is not concerned about that, he is concerned about their well-being. And so you can see again, it's not even on the level of like the parents who got a pitch that is not matching what is being delivered. But it's like he didn't even know what would come of this other than like, I I need to talk to someone about this, and wouldn't it be great if that helped things go my way?
And yeah, I do think that it's still like something horrible, and I wouldn't blame Ryan for not forgiving him, and I certainly don't blame him for having the reaction that he had, because it has precipitated so much pain and agony. But you have to remember that he's a fucking child.
Yeah.
He's literally a child, and he is having a childish reaction to his first heartbreak, and he is a child. Um, so I thought that that was so
It's just
fucked
like the
up of
girls
him,
on
and
the
I thought it
bus
was,
with the blowjob. One of them started dating the boy, the other tattled.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Listen, no narc.
I was trying to say something profound. Jesus fucking Christ.
Chelsea beat you to the punch, Monica. Okay.
I was about to drop something so fucking beautiful. Y'all would have cried, and then now it's gone, and you'll never hear it. So fuck you.
I'm kidding.
Would have probably been a nothing burger, so it's fine. um, but yeah, I think I really was expecting this movie to go in a different way than it ended up going too. I'm just like kind of used to with these exorcism-esque movies. Not that this is an exorcism movie, but there's some overlap. Or maybe I was expecting an exorcism of some sort where they would try to actually find the deliverance man, or like have a great Oh, we love a research scene where they try to like figure out what this thing could possibly be to try to like stop it. And I thought one of them might die while they're trying to save the other or something like that. That's where I thought it was going. And that's why I thought it was such a good gotcha moment when the sister of Hunter was like, "Oh yeah, let me help you. I'll take you to the guy." And cuz I want to figure out what happened here too. And then her betrayal was just so profound, and her betrayal revealing his betrayal, revealing
Mhm.
Name's betrayal. I just thought that was really well done, and that scene was really really scary. Just like I think like the social human aspects of this are the scariest parts for sure, but that gang of guys, um throwback to Tu Wong Fu, another big gang of homophobic men, spooky,
And
but a
all of those
lot more
guys that wanted
sinister
to
this
beat them
time
up
around.
wanted to kiss him. I'm just saying. Deep down,
Dude.
wanted to kiss him.
Also, pot fucking kettle black. Whatever the fucking sister's name is it Izzy? No one
Izzy.
knows. It is Izzy. Um, absolutely, while her brother was getting a demon put inside of him, or whatever you want to call it, being delivered to the homophobic demon, she was in the other room with that lead of the fucking baseball
Some terrible
bat
boy.
Yeah.
homophobes. I just said homos. I'm so sorry.
I mean, they are.
She was in there probably. I got a vibe where she was hooking up with that guy while that was happening, when
too.
Name is like running out after being so scared. Because they look so guilty in the room by themselves. So, bitch, fuck her. I get
That
she's
also
upset, but fuck that shit. Don't you want to like I don't know. But again, she's from this like religious household, and she's been taught to put the blame on the gay and not on everything, these people, and not on like the literal church that did the thing to her brother that precipitated his death. So it's not surprising that in her grief she goes back to God and does what she was told and what she was been taught. But still, fuck that shit.
But it's why the dad, like, didn't she say like, my dad before he left kept saying like, it's not your fault, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think everyone was having like an interesting internal character journey, even if it didn't always like come across great within the movie necessarily. I thought it was an interesting choice that made sense for her to have wanted to help initially, to be feeling guilt that she'd heard about this thing even before it happened to her brother, and then it started happening to her brother, and he was seeing something, and she didn't necessarily believe him until his head got ripped clean fucking off his body. And then she went, oh shit, this is real, I'm scared. But her dad has such a horrible breakdown over it that he leaves, and even though he says to her like, it's
That
not
was the
your
last
fault, don't know
straw.
why it would ever be her fault, other than I'm sure she feels some guilt because, again, like I was saying, she has heard about this guy. And maybe she feels like she should have spoken up, or she should have warned somebody, or she should have said, this is bad news. Because it seems, again, if there was some line that was like, oh, I've seen something like this before, I think the deliverance healer is like new to the church. Maybe they've done other sort of conversion things in the past, but it seems like everyone there was like horrified to see this for the first time, or maybe it's just always behind closed doors, who knows. But it's like she just lost her brother, she's feeling guilty, her dad tells her not to blame herself, but she also can't blame him because now she's lost him as well. Her mom is the only family that she has left who's trying to hold it together. It's so much easier to be angry and to point the finger than it is
Of
to
course.
have to sit with any of
Oh,
those
of
very
course.
hard emotions. So it's like, it has to be your fault. You tempted my
Oh, yeah.
brother, and it has to be your fault because I don't care that he's gay, but you told, and now
But
he
you're a
got in
narc.
trouble, and now he's dead.
Narcs, snitches do get stitches after all, and
Exactly.
those are words to live by. No, yeah, I mean, they're all incredibly human characters, and that's something that everybody was talking about in all the different interviews that I listened to. Just how fleshed out these characters are, and they do a lot with a little, and I think They did a really great job. Except they didn't give us the backstory of names, queerness, but I do think that you can interpolate a lot. You can not interpolate, but like infer a lot from what we do get. Like he definitely seems like the babiest of baby gays. Um, but instead of saying something smart, I'm gonna say this. When Ryan gets in the car and drives and hits the dudes, I thought Edward Cullen.
And you know what?
Get in
And
the
I think
car.
that was the director's intent. And I think that was the director's intent. And I think Adrian would really appreciate that. And he'd be like, wow, that's really astute. I can't believe you picked up on that.
I thought it was just like super interesting in general the way that that scene played out. I really it felt so human and so teenage to be like, I'm gonna drive you guys to get beaten the fuck up because fuck you guys. And maybe to not realize that hitting people with a 2x4 can kill them. But even though there's been this reveal that it is Name's fault that any of this is happening to Ryan, for Ryan to be like, but I'm not gonna sit here and let you get gay bash while even if I can escape, I don't even want to look at you, but like get in the fucking car and we're both getting out of here. And for that to lead to the moment that is like in all of the teasers and to finally be fully contextualized, I thought was super interesting because all of the teasers have that little chunk of dialogue that's like, if you see anything that looks like me, run the other direction because it's never gonna be me.
Well, but it
And
cuts off. I think it cuts off before he says, because it's never going to be me. Doesn't it?
he says I don't know. I don't remember.
In the trailer, yeah.
But regardless, you don't have the context to understand that what he's communicating in the full actual scene in the movie is like, I want you to survive. I wish the best for you in that capacity. I want nothing to do with you ever again. You will never see me around. I can't you have done something so horrible that I simply can't I can't deal with it in this moment. It's like I don't even want to look at you ever again. I don't want to be around you ever again. Before, Jessica told us that we can move on from each other and it's just going to look like the next dickhead that we're into, and I don't want it to look like any other dickhead. I want it to look like you if I have to deal with it. Now he's saying, I hope it if I see you again, it better be this entity because I don't want to see your face. And hopefully soon, he doesn't say hopefully soon it's somebody else's face, but you can see in that moment, he's like, I just want to be so separate from you forever, which is what makes that like screen door conversation when the entity comes to his house later like so devastating.
So devastating. And I think that it's a brilliant choice writing wise. One, because it's just makes sense, like in the plot of the story, like he's done this terrible thing, and so yes, there's going to be ramifications to this action. He has to be found out. There has to be that betrayal of trust, and of course, Ryan is going to feel this terrible way about it. Like there's
They certainly
there's
can't
no
live
two ways
happily
about
ever
it.
after with that secret between them.
No, of course. But then also, because of this fight that they've had, then it throws every other time you see Ryan into, like, you just automatically, like, before it was like, felt more 50-50. Like, could it be real Ryan? Could it be the entity? You don't really know. But then you're like more terrified of Ryan for the rest of it because you're like, well, how could it possibly be him? He said he'd never be there. And then it muddies the water. It makes you doubt yourself every way, every direction. Every time Ryan's on screen for the rest of it, because I don't know. I had heard. Okay, what? Really quick before I say this next thing, when all the skin ripped off of his hand, when he punched through the screen, that was disgusting, and I loved it. That was sick. That was great, and it was all in the screen. Great, 10 out of 10. That was good. See, there's some parts of horror of the gross stuff that I liked. But I had heard that this movie was really sad. It is 100%. It was really sad, but I was expecting it to be more sad because I heard it was really sad. I just wish no one would talk to me before I see a movie. Do you see how this is a trend? I just wish that no one would speak to me at all. So when they got to the fire scene, and I loved the whole like fire being the one weakness, because it was born
One
of fire.
Yeah.
fire to
Two
defile, one
flames.
to reform.
Yeah. So I thought that was really smart. But I was so terrified, and I'm sure that everybody, had that doubt too. But I was really sure that he had killed Ryan, in the fire, like a real Ryan. And I was
It
like,
couldn't have been the real
fuck
Ryan
this
because
movie.
the real Ryan couldn't have lifted up the pipe and the fake Ryan
Well,
did it so quickly.
No, I know, but I thought that
It's gonna be like an
that
oopsie. They were both there.
interacted. Yes, that's what I thought it was. Because it was
I
a
tricked you into
sentimental
doing
spot.
something horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I thought it was. I don't necessarily think that the entity was even trying to trick him. I thought it was going to be like a horrible, devastating, tragic coincidence because I'm so used to our gays being killed. I was so ready for that to be how it ended.
Prepared.
I was so prepared, and I was like, fuck this movie. I got so angry when they were searching for Ryan, and I was like, this movie fucking sucks. Fuck this shit. And I was so mad. And then the Mia part happens where she like reveals all that to him, and he's like, what the fuck? You don't even care about me at all. And she's screaming name, and I was like, his name was Name this whole time. Fuck this fucking movie. What the fuck? And then he walks down the street, and then Ryan's there, and I was like, wait, there's people everywhere. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's a good movie. I was like, okay. But I was so angry for those like 5-10 minutes that I blacked out. I don't remember a thing.
I blacked out. I don't remember a thing. It wasn't until
Wasn't
later when I
until
was watching the
later.
blood on my hands.
I'm making a lot of musical
Yes.
theater references today.
I definitely think my watch was biased by the fact that the gay Barbenheimer TikTok I saw, she actually didn't even see Girls Like Girls. She just called it that, because Girls Like Girls was not showing by her, so she only saw Leviticus. But she was like, I'm going to see Leviticus, and then she came out and she said like it was a perfect ending, and so I knew it was not going to be like a devastating. I didn't know what the ending was going to be necessarily, and I couldn't necessarily, even watching the movie, imagine what a perfect ending would look like, but I knew it was not going to be a movie that made me feel so sad and angry. And I think part of that is because the writer director of this movie is a queer man, and so it is like telling the true horror of these things, even if it's making them metaphorical. But he understands that we don't need more kill your gays. Sure, Hunter does die. Hunter does get his head ripped clean off. So it's like not like no gays die.
They had to show the stakes.
The girl in the
they showed
beginning.
the stakes twice.
Yeah, the girl in the beginning, loved that scene, by the way, where we see it from so
cool.
far away, where she's like having her seduction, and then we finally get closer up and she's like getting down on her knees, only to be brutalized. I mean, again, it's not like they're not willing to show the horror of these things, but I did feel that the love story was so central to what was going on in this movie that he was not going to totally betray that. And I am glad that I saw this TikTok and that I put my faith in this man. Because I think that is what makes this movie so bearable. I think if it had a really tragic ending, it just I don't think that I would like it. Even if it were like beautiful, and it is beautiful, and even if the love story scenes were so touching, and they are touching, I think if it had an ending that didn't inspire any sort of hope or faith for queer people who have experienced any sort of like religious trauma or conversion therapy trauma, it just would be crushing.
So crushing.
But that's what I like about this movie, to take my pigeon pin out from Tu Wong Fu, is we talked in that episode about how caution can keep you safe, but fear will hold you back. And I think that is such a central theme here, even though one of the first times we hear it, it's from the entity Ryan, not the real Ryan, when he's at the screen door. and he's saying they want us to be scared. They want us to be afraid to be around each other. And he's saying that in like a seductive, come close enough to let me kill you kind of way. But it's still real. Because again, we hear that from the mom at the end. His name is going to her and saying, like, I'm scared. I'm in danger. I'm in danger because of what you had them do to me. I'm getting hurt. I'm being hurt. And she says to him, fear is what is going to keep you safe. Fear is what's going to save you. You have to be afraid so that you don't, so that you're not ever gay, and then things will be good. And it's just,
Of
to
course,
me,
I'm always
it's
saying
like
that.
there's no way to make peace with people who want you to live in fear and be under their control. And the idea, even if it doesn't necessarily solve anything, because we see even when they're on the bus, there is that entity Ryan outside, like looking at them. Maybe it's being left behind on the desk because it doesn't appear on the bus. It certainly maybe could,
No,
to
because
some
there's
degree.
people around.
But it's like there's people on the bus looking at him that time he's standing right outside of the bus. So I think to some degree,
I think it's like physically. I don't know. That was another thing that pissed me off. That was another thing that pissed me off. I was like, he's right on the other side of the door looking at him. What do you mean? But then, how? If that wasn't the case, there had to be a physical barrier. I think it's like a physical barrier. If there's nothing around him, if there's no other people around him in a physical space, I think those are the rules because Name was right on the other side of the glass watching Hunter get ripped from limb from limb. So
right outside the
we
photo
never,
booth as well.
yeah, right outside the photo booth. So I think it's like an enclosed space with nobody else. That's when it can get you, or not an enclosed space, but like the bus was an enclosed space, so all the people were in the bus. If that makes sense. Anyway, keep going, Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
I'm curious
rules.
about the rules of it for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they're like slightly wibbly wobbly, but there's something there where you can justify it.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's like these people want you to live this way and you don't have to. You might have to leave and start a new life and go somewhere new, be a new version of yourself. But that offers freedom in a lot of ways, and that offers like possibility and hope and happiness, maybe even. And if the answer to the curse is that they just have to be around each other all of the time, that is a little questionable maybe. But also the idea that if they just stay together and are in love, it makes them to some degree invulnerable to this thing that's trying to come in and tear them apart and break them up and hurt them and make them afraid of each other. If their love is just like strong enough in this way, they can run away from it and leave it behind and start somewhere fresh and new. I just think that is like a beautiful way to end a film like this.
I think it's beautiful. It's like, you've actually pushed us closer together, you fools.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it? Like love is the best form of protest or something like that sometimes.
Yeah. Like
joy is resistance.
Fully, yeah, despite the atrocities. Okay, I feel like that's the perfect time to segue into our
segmentos.
How could this movie be gayer? Could it? You could make no one homophobic, but there'd be no movie. And so, thusly, this is pretty fucking gay. I would love a little more lesbians.
True.
I would
they only
love...
killed 2 gays, which I feel like is very low for a gay.
It's nice that they kept the number low.
Yeah.
I'm
sure
by the way,
out there, but we only saw 2.
We only saw some of the violence was like sort of off screen for that as well. It was kind of obscured a little bit.
I'm kind of like not mad that we didn't do this during Pride because it's like kind of like a bummer. It's not a bummer. But it's kind of a bummer, okay? And we did so many like fun ones for Trans Pride.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about on Too Long Fu. We were so careful with our lineup for Trans Pride because we didn't want to just be the trans people getting killed month.
It's like, oh, here's 20 movies where all the trans people die. No,
No.
Yeah, and I think
that's not
this
the vibe.
movie, it could have been a meaningful part of a Pride lineup where we're really talking about the adversity that queer people still face today. Even though
Yeah.
this movie did kind of like one of those same sort of deal as It Follows, where it is kind of like timeless. It doesn't have a clamshell e-reader or whatever. But it actually
Nobody
has like no
purposely
devices. Yeah.
didn't have any devices in it just so you could be kind of lost in the just the
Is it in the
ambiance.
90s? Is it
Yeah.
current? It's for whatever you feel, sort of. It's not it's kind of universal in that capacity. But while it would have been a beautiful movie with an important message about adversity that queer people face, isn't it so nice that we didn't mention AIDS once during Pride this year, Didn't come up at all.
Whoa, didn't come up at all. Whoa, crazy. Here's something gay. That's a thought that I have. The most beautiful thing I've seen, at least today, but certainly maybe in the last week, that crazy, like, they're almost like smashing their faces together because they were so passionate and angry about it. Kiss between Ryan and Hunter, where you saw it interspersed with the laundry blowing in the wind. I just thought that was like cinema. It was so pretty. I just thought it was really beautiful, and I thought it was really like an emotional way for Name to be seeing this like horrific thing for him. But like you're seeing their passion. It's so intense. It's so much more intense than like the kiss that he and Ryan shared, and he's just getting these glimpses, these like staccato bursts of it. I just thought that was really beautifully put together, and I felt emotions. And that's my gay thought I had. Any more? Any more gay thoughts?
Do all men wrestle and then kiss?
Gay men lay in.
Yeah, gay men. I need to know. Is this like a common
I want to
thing?
wrestle.
I feel like if
Let's
I'm
do
wrestling,
some gay
I'm
wrestling,
giving,
girls.
You know I will.
I know you will.
I do think wrestling is a very normal adolescent way to sort of be like testing those boundaries a little bit. And it's like a way to kind of have a sexual experience that is like not explicit. You're not like practicing kissing with your friends and just being like, it's not gay. It's like we're just wrestling, which is what kids do. And it doesn't have to be something if I don't want it to be something, but now I can kind of have this idea of what it feels like to have my body on your body or your body on my body, or you're pinning me down and it's awakening something in me a little bit. And the way
It's
he like
getting
shoves him
the
off and then he like
physical.
waits there to be like, I don't want to hold you down and kiss you. I just want to see, are you going to come to me now?
Have you guys read Giovanni's Room?
Mm-mm.
I just started it. I was reading it with Adam. Oh, my man. But it's like a very like quintessential queer book. Another queer book that I just read called, oh fuck, what was the Polish one that I just read? Swimming gay book. Swimming gay book is my Google search term that I'm doing right now, and so I'll let you know. But like that whole book, a huge part of it was Giovanni's Room. But anyway, Giovanni's Room, amazing thus far. But the beginning, the main character describes his first sexual experience with a man, and it also started from some wrestling. Some wrestling. Swimming in the Dark is the other book that I was referring to by Tomasz Dedrowski, also really wonderful. But I think you should read Giovanni's Room first because they talked about it so much and I read them out of order and I was confused. So don't be like
You have to go back, read that other one again.
I know, I'm going to have to. But anyway, any more gay thoughts we would like to share?
I do think, sorry, before she says her line, I do think it was interesting in the final confrontation in the mill before he burns him. He's like lost his lighter for a second. There is this moment where Entity Ryan like pauses when he like reaches out to caress his cheek and meet him with tenderness. And I just am so curious about it and what's going on there. And I
Just
think
trying to confuse him one more time.
but it's Name who reaches out to the entity with tenderness.
Yeah.
And the entity
Oh.
pauses.
Yeah.
And it's like
And then he lights
Oh.
his ass on fire.
yeah, and then he like curls away from him like a piece of paper being burnt.
Damn.
But I was pretty
Yeah, that-
satisfied with how gay this movie was.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't ask
It was
for
great that
very
there
much
was
more.
a hand job on a bus scene. I thought that was
Yeah.
They were being
That was
real
powerful.
loud. I gotta say.
They're being really loud. I was
kind of
getting
far away
embarrassed.
from everyone else.
And they were like 3 rows back.
They're 3 rows back.
I
I was in the
texted,
They,
theater
like one
in
row
the
from
fetal
the back,
position.
so it's fine.
I had my sweater like over my head because I was like, "Oh God, they're gonna get caught! Oh no!" I was
Mhm.
like, I wasn't there. Anyway,
I did
Um,
text Simon during that, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're being so loud."
Hand on the window.
Yeah, I mean
Braced.
it was hot, but like they're being.
It's like,
real
what are you gonna
loud.
do when you're done? What are you gonna do with all that?
well, then it's
Wipe
in
it
his
up on your
pants.
shirt.
Just in his pants. What are you gonna do? Anyway,
All right, not my
Matthew
journey.
Lillard. Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard would be a good sad pastor dad. He has to become Australian.
No,
Is the thing.
wrong. Matthew Lillard is one of the guys in the gas station that has no speaking lines. He's just standing there,
Oh,
holding the food, like
Perfect.
looking at this kid like he's nuts.
Through line
Perfect.
from Obsession,
Solved.
the like sassy girl who can't be bothered and is like, please just leave me alone at my job.
Very
We're
funny.
closing in 9 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That was so funny. Okay.
Also, sorry, I thought more about Sydney's trans theory with the salespeople from Obsession, and I've decided that even though their demeanors are completely different, it's because before he transitioned, he was like dissociating and trying to just like not engage so much with the world around him, just talk to his friend online. And then afterwards, he's like found a new peace in life, and that's why he's trying so hard to preserve it. And he's
Exactly.
like, you can't come in here with that attitude, man.
Actually, you can't do this. I'm at peace now.
I still think
Anyway.
that's so silly. Anyway, moving on to dumb bitch. It's just like, hey, where's 2 people? There can't be 2 people who work at the store. They have
Exactly.
That would
to
be
be
crazy.
the same
That would
person,
be
and they had
crazy.
to transition.
I wish I was a man in my
Girl.
40s.
Which was this sassy man in my 40s. I'll leave it. Hello. Anyway, okay, dumb bitch. Religion.
Religion.
Yeah.
Religion.
Sub Mia. I'm not gonna say your
Yeah,
last name because
I
I don't have it
think
pulled up right now.
It's really hard to pick one dumb bitch alone because I think you can judge based on the pastor's response that the parents don't necessarily know what they're signing on for. But I think the pastor in particular should have had a better idea of what he was bringing into his congregation. So I'd like to give him a nomination, even though we saw how heartbroken he was afterwards, as opposed to Mia Wasikowska's like cold distance. Deliverance healer, ultimately big dumb bitch because
But
don't
like good at
do
that.
death curse peoples on innocent gay teens.
children.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't
He is
know
really good at
the
it, though.
consequences, but Name should have never snitched. He should have had a
That was a
conversation.
bad call name.
Snitches get lifelong curses that make it really hard for them to find love. That's what happens. That's the longer version of the
They don't tell
No.
you that part.
idiom.
They
Yeah, they don't tell you that
shorten it
part
so you
'cause
can
it's-
remember it, but
Like,
that's the
Yeah, they
full
Things that
Extent
I've
people don't know,
learned,
but we know here.
going to your parents and telling them anything makes it worse. Tell them nothing.
Nope.
Tell your
yep.
parents nothing.
agree.
They are unsafe.
Are there children who listen to this podcast? I hope not.
Here's the thing. I'm saying this to
I
adult
always-
children of anybody.
I always
Your
click
parents are unsafe. Don't talk to them.
no kitty. On YouTube, there's a thing that says, "Is this suitable for children? Yes or no?" And you can leave it unclicked. And I'm like, no. Every
No.
time I was like, a child should not see this. No. Anyway, that leads us to our knives out of 5s.
So, like you said, this movie was chosen to, I don't know if it made its debut at Sundance or if it just was shown at Sundance, but it was selected for Sundance. So that is good. But the numbers are a little mixed. I kept in mind how you said IMDb is always bad because on IMDb, this movie has a 6.8 out of 10. Not great. However, On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 92% fresh from critics and 82% fresh from audiences. So that's pretty good. And I also felt that it was worth mentioning that at the 2026 South by Southwest Film Festival, it was nominated for an audience award for festival favorites. So
Cute.
I think that's
This
nice.
is too far away. Cute. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I didn't like, other than Simon saying that he like really liked it, I didn't like hear any other person's opinions on it. And like I didn't really want to leave my house. It's like feels like 100 degrees. Like it's a bad week. It's the week of the 3-year anniversary of my house getting broken into. So like
Oh God, Sid, I'm
like
sorry.
I haven't wanted to like leave my house, you know? But like I'm glad I did. I had a good time. Like
can't stay home in fear. It's like the movie says.
Exactly.
You must venture out.
I got to eat some Twizzlers, drink some ginger ale.
Wow.
So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I really thought like their relationship was like really sweet and like, oh, to be, you know, high school love again and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like so endearing. And like the jump scares were good. Like, sure, have we seen them before? Yeah, like this movie isn't groundbreaking, but like it's still like really, it's real. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this conversation has made me like it better, and it was very helpful to be able to pinpoint what was bothering me. Yeah, because there are the lion's share of this film is so wonderful. And so moving, shot beautifully, scenic. I loved that decapitated head. It looked cool. I liked how chill the frog looked as it was being swallowed by the snake. I thought that was strange.
It accepted.
It really had accepted its death. And I was like, what's that mean? But we're not going to get into it. We don't have time. We've gone over the time of this movie. So, you know, we got to keep it quick. But yeah, I think that like where they tried to get you is where they lost me. And because they fell into some gimmicky traps at times that made me roll my eyes, where the rest of the story is so, not again that it's so innovative and so brand new, but I thought it was a beautiful and horrific look and an interesting take on conversion therapy. And there's been a lot of stories about that, but to do it in a horror way and to do it in a tasteful way, because this is a very, very touchy, very horrific subject, I thought it was done with a deft hand for the most part, except for when they fell into those little moments. But I get it. It's a horror movie and this is a horror movie podcast. I understand that. And so like they want to get some like actual scares on the table because there are some people who are going to come to this movie and that's what they're looking for primarily. So they have to have some of that to try to appease some people. So I get it. I totally get it. But I didn't love the execution on a few of those. I do feel like that one scene, the dialogue was so weird and strange, and the performance was ridiculous at the hospital that really took me out of it. But like for the most part, for a directorial debut and like some of the not first performances from some of these actors, but they're early on in their career, it was really powerful and it was really fantastic. So I'm gonna give this like a 4.3. That's my favorite number, so I'll do 4.3. And I think that people should see it, but they shouldn't talk to anyone beforehand. So I hope that you didn't talk to us before you watched it and you went back in time. Go back, delete your brain, and go in fresh, and delete the trailer from your mind, and never talk to anyone until you go see a movie for yourself. Because I hate that shit. I hate being poisoned.
Yeah. I will say for me, I think it helped though. I think I went in being like, there's hope for this movie. This could be a beautiful, good thing. And it kept my heart open. And I am happy with what I received for the most part. I think there are some things. I think it is kind of like other directorial debuts that we've talked about in the past, especially from writer directors, where it's just like you learn by doing. And so if they were to make this movie again, there are certain things that I think even they would probably tweak just based on learning how things are received, how it comes across, that maybe a second or fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever pass at a scene could produce slightly different results that maybe work better with the movie overall. Because there were a couple of things that I think it just didn't, it wasn't quite clear what it was serving the story, other than it was a moment of trying to be like, isn't this scary? um like the hospital scene with Jessica, maybe it like took away hope that there's anything that they could do. Maybe you just needed more information about what this looks like before you could move forward with the plot. But it is so unclear exactly what's going on there and exactly what purpose it serves that I think just it could have used a little editing. Um but overall, I really liked this story. I mean, it's so like based on the strength of their connection, and I think their connection in the movie is just so beautiful and strong that it carries so much. And I like the idea that, wouldn't it be so beautiful and wonderful if all families were always supportive? But sometimes they're not. And sometimes their idea of what is right for you is going to be something that hurts you. And ultimately, you have to just be your own person and decide for yourself what kind of life you want to
Save
lead
yourself.
and what it looks like. And sometimes that might have to mean leaving behind people that don't see the hurt that you're experiencing, because in their head they've decided this other thing that brings you happiness and joy is worse somehow. So this idea that, yeah, sometimes you just have to leave and go somewhere else and make your own life. It is like really heartbreaking. But I also think it is kind of beautiful that this movie's like, but you can do it. You can. So
Get up.
I really liked that.
Thank God for a
And
hopeful
I
ending.
don't know. I thought it was super interesting. The conversion therapy horror, somebody else in the theater that I was with the second time was talking about they, them a little bit. They
Oh
slash
my
them.
God.
And it's like, this is so, even if they're dealing with like similar themes, it's such a different movie. And
I think it's
this
like
movie is
kind
like
of
beautiful
like
touching.
it suffered because it didn't have like a musical number. Did you feel
I
that?
think if they
I
had
feel like it would have been a
if they
lot
If
stronger
they
if
would
there
have
had
like
been like a
yeah,
brought in
full blown
song at least once.
performance, like
there's the
specifically of
Frank
a was it a
Ocean needle
Sia
drop at
song?
the end, but if
That
they
was so
had
good.
just sang it to each other earlier in the movie, I think they could have overcome their difficulties.
I
And what if
and
they'd
don't
sang
forget
it
they
to their
had to
mom?
dance. If they had danced,
If they'd slid on their knees across the floor?
if they had done some like voguing,
I want a
I think
death
that would
drop
really.
immediately.
But yeah, I mean, I think it is interesting to think about those movies in comparison a little bit, because that movie I think really wanted to have an inspiring ending, and that ending felt, even though no gay people died in that movie, maybe sort of, it felt much more bleak. And this movie felt much more hopeful and sort of empowering and inspiring, even if it is in many ways sad. Um, I do think the ending, when it's like, I would have loved a little more of the playing of like, is it him? Is it not him? We saw him like waiting for the bus, but we didn't see anybody acknowledging him. I was kind of like, is that purposeful? But then we see the other Ryan outside, and so it's like confirmed the Ryan on the bus is the real Ryan. And I didn't
That would
want
have
it to
been
be like
fucking
ambiguous.
so
Yeah.
stupid if they had ended. That would have made me so angry.
Yeah.
Because then they would have broken all of their rules too, and I hate that shit.
Um,
Make the rules solid.
but I was curious a little bit about like what the messaging was there. But overall, I really liked it. It was fun on a second time. If the next showing of the movie had no people in it, I would have watched it a third time and sat in the back on my laptop, taking notes. But alas, I'll just have to watch this movie again one day, and maybe we'll do that gay Barbenheimer double feature sometime with friends. Girls Like Girls, Leviticus, they're kissing on the mouth. And it's
ready.
still queer, even though one's girl movie and one's boy movie, just to be clear.
Did you give this a score?
Yes, and it was 4.5. It's really weird that you didn't hear me say that, actually.
It's funny because
She
you
said,
didn't.
I wrote it down, but I said it in
I
my
didn't
mind.
write it down, but I had decided earlier on, so.
Of course, of course, of course. Well, that closes the book on Leviticus, so that's exciting. But now we're moving on to something new, and an exciting thing is happening too. So I think Sydney, you're introducing this one.
And that exciting thing is we're going on summer vacay. That's right. We are taking a spooky 2-week summer vacation. So you will not be hearing from us for the last 2 weeks of July, but we'll be back with a vengeance right at the beginning of August with a double feature of Stephen King's Sleepwalkers and Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. And if you know why we think those would be an excellent double feature, then boy, are you in luck. And if you have no idea why those two would be a good double feature, you've got plenty of time to watch both movies before our episode drops.
Thank you so much for listening. Why not give us a 5-star review? Wow. Say, oh my gosh, I love it when you talk about gay horror movie. 10 out of 10. Actually, I can only give you 5 out of 5. Wish I could do more. There you go. That was well written.
5 out of 5, but I'm making a second account to do it twice now. It's 10 out of 10.
Wow. Thank you for that. Wow, that's really powerful.
Oh my
You're
God,
so
you guys
sweet.
are really going above and beyond.
That's really nice. We'll also take a 5-star rating on Spotify. Also, shout out to the millions of comments that are still coming in on Spotify. And by millions, I mean 14. But still, that's crazy. It's crazy. The girls are chitty chatting and they're saying fun, interesting things. And it's not just girls. I'm just saying the girls as a group term. But if you're a listener of Spooky Tuesday, we're all the girls here, okay? And we love you. And we, except for that one person who said a mean comment.
I think they just didn't realize we were a queer podcast, and so we're gonna have a queer perspective, and
Yeah, no,
they can
fine.
listen to something else.
We only got one, and it was like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still like,
why are you guys being so gay? It was the vibe. And
okay,
like, well,
they were like, why did you
girl.
talk about? They're like, why did you talk about this movie being trans for so long about the Matrix? And I was like, hello, welcome to Pride, to Trans Pride here at Spooky Tuesday.
And you know,
That's
if you missed the
like
intro,
the whole thing that we were doing, and we were very upfront about it. LOL, so funny. Anyway.
Wow.
Now that we've aired out our haters, moving on. Why not follow us on social media? As long as you're nice, we'll always be nice back. Follow us on social media. We're at spooky_Tuesday, or on Facebook and Tumblr, we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Our website is spookytuesdaypod.com. Check that out for all of our special links and beautiful pictures of us from several years ago. We should do another photo shoot, girls. I have front bangs now. Anyway. Crazy development. It's big. It's actually big because
never been done
my
before.
it's literally my whole personality now. I have curly front bangs. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I didn't say that I invented them. It's just part of who I am. Oh my God, that's so nice of you. Thank you. I did. Anyway, check that out. It's really fun. And also join our Patreon. Patreon is so fun. We have some new patrons. It's very exciting. We're all becoming besties. It's very cute. They watch movies on Saturdays. Sometimes we pop in and say hello. And also, we've got exclusive content coming out all the time, trailer reactions and the like. And a kitten reveal recently happened. So get your shit, get in there. We can see a kitten. Come on. You should do it. And then also, we are on YouTube. And my God, today Chelsea seems to be wearing a shirt. What is it? Oh, wow. Is that Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga?
Born this way,
baby.
From the old Navy Pride collection. I wore it just for this episode.
That is fucking hysterical. And also this entire episode, I've been trying to figure out what that shirt says. I thought it said Sassy Casa. And I was like, what the
Lady
fuck
Gaga.
is that?
Unicorn, kind of lesbian colors, which is part of why I purchased it. But born this way, so can't convert it away.
That's really special. I'm wearing my Mexico jersey because at the time
tonight.
this is being recorded, the World Cup is playing right now, and
They needed
You
your
have it up.
mojo, your juju.
Yep. And yeah, so just subscribe to us on YouTube. You can see wonderful things. I also showed a taxidermy frog earlier in the episode, and I'm eating the entire episode. So if you like mukbang content, there's some free version of that in here
I'm
too.
eating chips. Like, we're having a great time.
Yeah, lozenge clacking around.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. My throat never stopped. I was clacking it, and I was like, "Your mouth is next to a microphone. Put it somewhere else, Monica." So I do apologize. I did clock it myself and rectify the situation. But anyway, that's it. That's that on that. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.